Going on, everyone? Another episode of Blue Collar Sports here. I'm here with Hitman. I'm Anthony.
Yo,
We're down one guy tonight. Scott's having some internet issues. Hopefully, he could jump in with us a little later.
he needs to pay his bill.
Yeah, right. He didn't get his stimulus yet. So, well, Hitman, we were going to do a football video today, but then something more important came up, not in a good way.
Yeah,
We're going to talk some Eloy Jimenez.
that guy. Yeah.
This really sucks. Bad day. What did you send earlier? The Thanos thing? The Bulls got better?
Yeah, the Bulls got better, but what's the cost? Eloy Jimenez.
Eloy Jimenez.
Yeah, I mean, how can we as a Chicago sports fandom go from, the highs of what the Bulls did and then, 2 hours later, get a kick in the nuts when arguably the White Sox best player or probably second best player is, basically out for the year at this point.
Yep. Ugh.
I mean, it sucks. I mean, it truly sucks.
Where do I start with this kid? I don't know. Scott, when we were texting, Scott brought up a good point when he said they're still young. They're in the first year of contention. So I know we were talking in another video that the rebuild is pretty much done. Now it's time to win. It's time to start taking that next step. And that was a good point he brought, but this dude's got to wise up, man. He's got to start being smarter out there. I get what also you and Scott were saying, injuries happen in sports, but this dude every single year, multiple times, and we're only in spring training this year.
Well, Steve Stone brought up a good point. He said in so many words that there's a difference between having great hustle and being stupid. And what Eloy Jimenez did was basically stupid. If you're pulling a hamstring, trying to, beat out a grounder at first and you pull a hamstring, that's fine. I mean, that happens. If you turn an ankle rounding a base, that happens because you're hustling. And in this situation, the dude tried to do like a Vince Carter type maneuver over trying to get a home run ball, which was 15 feet away from him.
Yeah, that ball was pretty much gone. I don't know what he was doing.
And I don't know if whoever is the outfield, coach for the White Sox is teaching him properly. He has to be able to know what he can and can't get. I hope he learns from this because, it's going to get to a point where he's 23, 24 years old. He's going to be a full-time DH pretty soon. And I know that's not what he wants. He wants to be a ball player. He wants to play the field. But you can't play the field if you're constantly getting hurt on plays that, you have no business trying to make. Yeah, the plays that don't matter.
Yeah.
The ball is 15 feet gone. There's no reason for you to even try and get that. I mean, and the thing about this is that he's been treading on thin ice for the past 2 years, with him getting caught in the net last year, with him, colliding with Robert, with him, getting hurt during the home run celebration. He was due for an injury. He was due. It's really unfortunate that it happened this way. But, well, that's the part that sucks.
Did you see what Rick Hahn said? Did you see the comment Rick Hahn made?
Which one?
Let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. I don't know how to do share screen and all that crap on here yet. I'm going to figure it out eventually. What the hell did Rick Hahn say? Rick Hahn said on Eloy Jimenez trying to make a catch well out of his reach. He was trying to make a play, and it's hard for me to get upset with a player for trying to get an out. That is bullshit. It's spring training. He shouldn't be making that play unless it's to win the division or get them into the playoffs.
well, that play shouldn't be made anyway. There was no way he was going to get that
No,
ball.
no.
That play is not going to be made, whether it's spring training, opening day,
Yeah.
All-Star game, or playoffs.
The
You know
attempt should
that.
have been made. Period.
Yeah, it's one of those where you go up to the warning track and you just say, all right, well, I'll try to get the next one. It's funny because Dan Bernstein today brought up a good point. There's a reason why you have a warning track.
Yeah.
It's called a warning track for a reason. Warning. Don't try anything. And it's sad because we still have these high hopes for the White Sox. The White Sox can still win the division.
Yeah, they're still good.
Everything is dependent on health, and they lost a key cog of that lineup, a guy that was going to bat fifth.
Yeah. They're still good, but Eloy was a big part of it. He was a big part of this team, man. I mean,
look, there were reports or even reporters just saying that how he could be up there in MVP voting in the American League. There, a lot of people were expecting him to take this next jump. I mean, if you average out his home runs last year just based off of 162, not the 60 that they played, he was close to 40. He had 30 his rookie year.
Yeah, I think he had 31.
Yeah.
31 or 32. And he got called up later. He wasn't even there on opening day, was he?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think he was, man. And he still hit 31.
No, he's a great player, and he just needs to mature in terms of his decision making. That's
the outfield.
In the outfield. That's basically what it boils down to. He needs to mature in the outfield.
You know what? It's not his defense we're gonna miss. Well, we're gonna miss him being in right field, but it's his plate presence.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed the spring training. If it's not in the zone, he's not swinging.
And that's the thing that
is awesome.
That I've noticed as well, that he's matured because, they've all been free swingers.
Yeah, of course.
And for him not to swing anything that's out of the strike zone, that's going to bode well for him. Just like you said, the White Sox are not going to miss him in terms of his fielding. No, but they are going to miss his bat.
It's a big bat.
I'm curious to know what La Russa will do. I mean, I know the plan right now is to go with Vaughn to start, but what's going to happen when Angle comes back? Does La Russa want to go with a more defensive lineup since you still have some thump, and play Angle in right, maybe Eaton in left, and still have Vaughn as your DH? I mean, or does he want to just, make sure he still has, that bat, but sacrifice a little defense, but in making sure that they score, 8 to 10 runs a game?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, Eloy kind of made a little bit of a mess of things here. Not a big mess. I mean, it's not all throw the season in the trash can, but it sucks. He made a mess here, trying to catch a ball that he wouldn't have been able to catch, like you said, whether regular season or spring training. His rookie season, man, he hit like 31 home runs, swinging at everything thrown at him.
Yeah.
In such a short period of time, he's learned how to control himself at the plate. Now imagine how many home runs he would hit with plate control, not swinging at everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, right. That's why, like I said, I mean, there were, publications or even, people that were thinking that Eloy could be a contender for American League MVP just because of the growth at the plate that he was showing. And it sucks because, I mean, the guy is still young, and he's not even in the prime of his baseball career
yet. That's a good thing to look at about this injury. It's not like he's at the end of his prime, or the Sox are at the end of their contending years. I mean, I guess if you could look at a good thing about the injury.
Well, and that's why, when we were texting back and forth, I made the comment, that, if it was up to me, you wouldn't see him until 2022.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
Did you?
because basically, according to some orthopedics, if you have a torn pec, I mean, that's
Oh,
not
yeah,
exactly
that email. I remember.
that's not exactly great for a guy who has to, swing a bat.
Yeah, that's a
So, my theory was, he's young. The White Sox are in year one of this championship window, supposedly. Eloy, we'll see you in 2022. Heal up.
ugh.
I know it sucks, but
Yeah,
I'm looking at it from, a
medical
he
standpoint.
from a medical standpoint, and also a commodity. 'Cause, I mean, if a guy that's this young and this talented with that injury, nah, I'll see you in 2022. And I know there was some talk about, well, what if he's healthy? I'm like, I don't care. I mean, if he still has to go to the minors. That the injury is 5 to 6 months, right?
Yeah.
For he's going to be out. Let's say he gets the surgery in April. He's back in September. I mean, is that really enough time to get him up and ready for a playoff run?
Well,
Realistically,
like we were comparing with Schwarber when the Cubs went to the series. They threw him right in there because they had to. If the Sox make the playoffs and Eloy's back from this injury, you kind of have to play him, man. Because that's why they brought him here.
yeah, I understand that, but but that's just me. I'm always going to err on the side of medical. And my theory is going to be, what kind of injury did Schwarber have?
Yeah, I can't remember the Kyle Schwarber injury. If
I
you
mean,
want to keep
because
going, I could look it up real quick.
I mean, if it's a knee injury, you can kind of get away with that because there's not as much torque on that. But you're talking about swinging a bat, and we also know how, yes, he has improved his plate presence, but he also swings violently, and one false move or one wrong move, he could possibly tear it again. That's why I'm leery about um, bringing him back this year.
That Sorry to cut you off. That was in 2016 when they won the series, right?
Correct.
It was a torn ACL.
Yeah. I mean, look, tore ACL. You're basically you're doing some running. Might be doing some cutting. He can play a little. Schwarber can play a little bit of DH. It's not like tearing a pec. It's not like you actually have to swing and use this motion. Use this up here.
Yeah.
It's too of a fluke injury to mess around with, in my perspective.
Now, what if he's ready? The Sox make the World Series and they sit him through the playoffs and say, if we make the series, then you play.
I still want to know where he's going to get his at bats. I still want to know how he's going to get up to speed. I mean, is he going to be in Schaumburg at the practicing at the training site, or is he going to be down in the minors, depending on how long the minor league season getting at bats? Because he has to see live pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he's going to get it through batting practice as well, he can do that. But this is why they pay Herm Schneider, Rick Hahn, and Tony La Russa the big bucks to make that decision. But I know for me personally, I wouldn't see him until 2022.
Yeah, I just don't like the comments Hahn's been making. He should be pissed. Rick Hahn should be pissed.
Look, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's pissed, but he's not going to come out and go against the player. He probably did it, in the locker room, but he's not going to come out in the media and say, hey, dumbass, stop.
Yeah.
I'm sure he talked to him and say, dude, I mean, you can't do this.
Yeah. I mean, that tweet I read you earlier about what he said, I commented, a play to win the division, agreed. A play that puts the Sox in the postseason, agreed. A play that is meaningless in spring training, disagree. The kid needs to smarten up if he's going to play outfield. What a dumb comment by Han. He should be super pissed. That's what I.
No, and both can be true. Both of those can be true. Like I said, he's not going to sit up here and come out publicly and chastise his player for that. You know, I don't think that's right. But I think you take care of that. What in the locker room or in Han's office or whatever. But I do agree with you that it was a dumb move. I mean, it totally changed the landscape of the American League in terms of the White Sox go from. I actually read something before we came on. The White Sox went from I think Pagoda had him at one point at 88 wins, and that was fully healthy. And then with Eloy hurt, they dropped it down to 84. So I mean, I don't like Pagoda,
No.
those rankings or those projections, but I can understand why anybody who picked the White Sox to win a division or have them winning, 90, 95 games would say, hey, this is a huge loss.
He also made another comment. I think I sent it to you guys earlier. What did it say? Han won't comment on any considerations outside the organization, but they will be open to talks with other teams.
I think they're going to exhaust every internal option before they have to make a decision about going outside. But the question with that will be, how long do they wait?
Yeah.
I mean, do you go the first 50 games before you decide that you want to pull a deal? I mean, there's still free agents out there.
They can't afford to wait that long, though.
I mean,
if they're going to go trade for someone, they have to do it now.
Oh, and the thing, the problem is right now is that teams know that the White Sox need another bat, so they're going to say, hey, okay, you give us this, you give us Kopech, you give us Cease for this particular guy. And if I'm Han, I'm saying no. That's why I'm to a point where I'm looking at, Reddick or even Cespedes and saying, hey, I'm going to roll with those two guys if my internal options doesn't pan out, and then go from there. I mean, the White Sox are in year one of a championship window, a supposedly championship window. There's no need to spend all your capital trying to fulfill a need.
That's what I'm afraid of.
There's no need for it. You still have enough to win. It sucks, but the White Sox still have enough now. If they go in the season and Tim Anderson start getting hurt and Jose Abreu miss games, and Yohan Moncada is he's known for missing 10 to 15 games. If that happens, then yeah, that's a problem. But I mean, you're in a situation.
Always got that bad back.
Yeah, and you're in a situation where sucks that Eloy's out, but you still have a potent lineup, and you just need guys to perform more than what you have planned on them to do. That's all.
What do you think of Andrew Vaughn going out there? Because LaRussa's saying he's going to put Andrew Vaughn out there. That's probably going to be his left fielder.
Well, that I think that was kind of the I think that was kind of like the the
damage control a little bit.
Yeah. In terms of, all right, well, we got to make sure that we keep this bat in the lineup, But also, that's why I mentioned to you guys earlier. That's why I think they may carry 3 catchers, at least for the first couple of weeks of the year. I don't necessarily think Vaughn would be an option if Engel wasn't hurt. If Engel wasn't hurt, Engel will be in right field. He can move Eden to left.
Even with healthy Eloy, or you're talking because Eloy's injured?
No, because Eloy's injured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a good bat. He's not the greatest player, but he's got a good bat.
I mean, in all honesty, I mean, it's a corner outfield position. You just need to have a decent arm. I think what else sucks is the fact that, if you can convince Abreu to play DH, that can solve some of your issues. But Abreu doesn't want to DH.
They some of these players got to bend a little bit now. Again, Eloy made a little bit of mess of things here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the problem is that you have a few guys that don't want to DH, and you might have to tell Abreu, hey, we might need you to DH for a little bit just so we can move the lineup around.
We're trying to hoist a trophy up here. You gotta. We're not taking money away from you or anything, but you need to.
No, I mean, and I get it, because remember, for the longest time, Frank Thomas hated DH. He said it took him out of the rhythm of the game.
Yep.
But eventually he got to a point where he figured it out. But I can understand why, when players who used to playing, a position would scoff at the idea of now moving to DH. I can understand that. But I think there's a point where you have to do what's best for the team. And if La Russa says, hey, we're going to need you to DH while we move some stuff around. Yeah.
Or swap him and Vaughn around at DH.
Yeah, I mean, I
What
wouldn't.
other choices there?
I mean, I thought about some wacky stuff of maybe you go out and, I mean, I probably wouldn't have done this now, but I would have gone out and try and get another infielder that has a good bat and move Tim Anderson to center field or left and move Robert around. I think Tim Anderson can play some center field.
I wouldn't like Tim Anderson in the outfield. Let me tell you what, he makes some dumb decisions sometimes in the infield. Sometimes he misses some ground balls or a little blooper hit to him, and every once in a while he messes it up and he drops it or he mishandles the ball. In the outfield where he's got to run all over the place, I don't trust Tim Anderson out there.
I get that. I mean, but like I said, I mean, it's an idea. It's the fact that the White Sox don't have a lot of options right now. They truly don't. I mean, do we want to see Larry Garcia play every day? Of course not. No.
Andrew Vaughn, he's good, or it looks like he's going to be good. He's too big to be out in the outfield. That's too much area for him to be running around. That kid will get injured out there.
Well, I mean, that's why it's to a point where, it.
Should they call up what's his name, Yolakui?
No, I don't think he's ready. No, he's not ready. He's definitely not ready.
He might not have a choice.
My issue is I think Vaughn's a first baseman.
Oh wait, yeah, he's not an outfielder.
Vaughn, but honestly, that's where you stick. That's honestly where you stick first baseman when you don't have any room. You either play DH or you go to the outfield. And it's usually one of the corner outfield positions where they go.
I don't know. You put Andrew Vaughn out there, you have to play him deep. Do you have him play deep or you have him play shallow? Because you can't play in the middle. You know what I mean?
I think it all depends on who's at bat. I mean, if Mike Trout was out there and yeah, I'm going to have him play deep. But if it's somebody, like a punch and Judy hitter that especially from the left side that likes to, likes to slap hit the left field, yeah, I'm going to have him to play a little bit more. It just depends.
If Vaughn's out there in left field, I think opposing batters are going to have fun with him.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure he's fast, but when it comes outfielders, I'm pretty sure he's slow.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's going to be interesting how Robert plays, left center and center field. Like my concern with that is how much of the pressure of him being on defense in terms of making sure he gets to everything. I hope that doesn't affect his batting. That's my concern, because that's a guy that needs to hit from.
I don't think it'll affect his batting. I'm worried about his health.
Well, yeah.
Eloy going down pretty much said, you now have right center, center, and all of left field now. With Eloy going down.
Well,
Before you just had right center and center field.
I think once Angle gets back, I think it'll be a little bit better. As much as the Eloy injury hurts the Sox lineup, but the one that hurts defensively is Angle, because that was your defensive replacement for Eloy. You know, assuming the Sox have a lead going into the 8th inning. But I mean, there's only, you're only going to miss 2 weeks of Adam Engel. But I'm just curious to know, or just to see how La Russa is going to, do these lineups. Like I said, I mean, I can definitely see La Russa carrying 3 catchers now, just so he can switch up that DH left field spot now. I mean, it's not ideal. I don't think La Russa wants to do it, but maybe Leary gets some at bats. Vaughn will probably get the lion's share of it, but this team's got some questions now. This team definitely has some questions that need to be answered.
Out of the, let's see, another thing you sent us. Out of the list of free agent outfielders, who would you want to see him go get?
Yeah, mine would be Josh Reddick and Cespedes. Those are the two. I don't think they'll cost you much. Now you have the at bats to make them happy, but I think they're going to exhaust all of their internal options before they go out and get somebody. I think you might see some guys being called up and down, assuming how this goes. I mean, it's going to be a DH left field by committee. And you don't want that. You don't want that.
No. I mean, in a contending season, do they have the time and the luxury to experiment like that? Though? Call a guy up, he's not working. Call another guy up, he's not working. I think they should either stick with Vaughn, say, okay, Vaughn's our guy, go trade for someone, but we all know what that's going to do. They're going to want someone from our pitching staff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His last name starts with a K. Okay.
I mean,
or they're going to have to go grab one of these free agents. I mean, if they go free agent route, I want to see them grab Josh Reddick or Yasiel Puig.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I don't know how much of that Yasiel Puig investigation is going to affect. A lot of teams are staying away from that until that's come about. And then let's say, for instance, there's some issues. I mean, he's still going to have some issues with the league, and he's going to get disciplined. So that's tough. I want Puig too, but I also don't want him to, I don't want to pay him money for him not to be around.
To get suspended for 60 games, right?
Yeah, because of stuff he did off the field.
I mean, who else is there? There's Ryan Braun, Jorge Bonifacio, Matt Kemp, Sean Rodriguez. Yeah. It looks like he's an infielder, so I don't know why the Sox would consider him. Yoenis, Reddick, Puig, Carlos Gomez, and Melky Cabrera, which is an absolutely no.
I mean, Carlos Gomez. I mean, that's not that bad of a name, but I have a feeling that they're going to exhaust everything internally. So you might see like Vaughn, you might see Gavin Sheets up, you might see Lurie playing some DH at times. You'll be a situation where Dahl is going to play some DH. That just like you said earlier, this injury put I don't want to say a monkey wrench, because that lineup is still good, but it definitely costs.
Let's see. I'm trying to look up some of their outfield prospects. It's rough. I mean, Andrew Vaughn, Yolakwe.
I mean, they have Blake Rutherford, who's been in their system for the past 3-4 years.
Lake. What about Mike Rodolfo? I forgot about him.
You know what? Well, we hear about him every year, but he never seems to do anything that can even be remotely put on the 40-man or even be brought up.
Yeah.
And that's a guy who can, who I think can play, but he never seems to do anything within the organization that
Makes him
to
shine.
prove that theory. Yeah.
That's all I see on here, man. You said Blake Rutherford.
Yeah.
Luis Gonzalez.
And that's a guy who's had a decent spring. That's a guy who's had a decent spring.
Yeah.
But the problem the White Sox have, they don't do well drafting position players. And that's gone back to,
unless they're from Cuba.
Yeah, no. The White Sox do well getting outfielders from Cuba.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about drafting an American, outfielder, nah, they don't do well.
Yeah, I don't see much. There's not. It's all pitching.
Maybe they can, if need be, maybe they can, trade one of those second tier starters, like a Stever, for another bat. But I truly believe that they don't want to go that route. They want to exhaust every internal option, and if they need to sign a free agent, they'll sign it. I don't think they want to trade anybody just for a 1-year rental when you have him coming back. You have the Eloy coming back, and that's the thing. That's why I'm leaning on the side of, you got this dude on a contract for 5 more years. It sucks to have him out for the year possibly, but hey, get yourself healthy. We'll see you in 2022.
That's a good point. They go trade for a big name, big bat for a rental, because you're not going to try and extend them.
No.
Eloy coming back.
No. So at that point, it's kind of like, all right, well, we'll just roll what we got, and you just gotta hope that Abreu doesn't see a dip in his numbers. Robert gets better. You hope that Moncada, continue to improve. It's all the same stuff that we talked about in our earlier shows. Now it's just more magnified because Eloy's out.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, if they were to trade, possible trade pieces, I mean, Rutherford, Gonzalez, Berger. I think Jake Berger would be, I mean, if they decide to go the 1-year rental route,
Yeah, I mean, Berger's an outfielder. He's also gonna play a little bit of third too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of avenues the Sox could go down right now.
Yeah, but like I said, I think everything is going to be internally. I think Lurie's gonna, like I said, Lurie's gonna get some time out there and left. Adam Engel's gonna get some time. Eaton's gonna get some time in there. It's like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see how La Russa does this. I mean, you will hope with a manager who's been around as much as he's had, that he can do this. So maybe that's why they brought him aboard. He's got like 60 years of or 50 years of managerial or being around baseball, period.
It's a good opportunity for him to make himself look good.
Yeah.
To any doubters that he gets.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get to a point where he can, maximize, that lineup, knowing that Eloy's going to be out for the year. But it goes back to my original point. What kind of lineup does he want to put out there? Is he all about, scoring 8 to 10 runs a game? So maybe you play a little bit more, of a Vaughn and left and maximize that, or do you go with a little bit more of a well Vaughn and left and Collins at DH, Collins or Grandal at DH, or do you have Vaughn in at DH and just say, hey, we're gonna go with some of these smaller guys and just play defense in the outfield instead of scoring 8 to 10 runs, we'll be satisfied with 6 to 8, and then we'll rely on our pitching.
It's going to put a lot of stress on the pitching staff.
Well, I mean,
but they have to do what they have to do,
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean that's the question that needs to be answered, and I'm of the mindset of maybe you lean on your pitching staff a little bit more than you wanted to. This goes back to our previous conversations about the fourth and fifth starters. I hate to bring them up again, but they got to go 5. They got to go 5.
Yeah. I want to go back to when you said when Eloy comes back. When he comes back, he has to be a DH. He has to be a DH. I don't trust him out there anymore, man.
You know what?
His rookie year, he ran into the wall. What is second or third game?
Yep.
Last season, ran into the wall.
And then he got caught in the net.
Intentionally threw himself into the net, which could have caused him injury. Injured himself at the mound, celebrating a home run.
No,
right?
it was Giglio's no-hitter.
No-hitter. Celebrating the no-hitter. And now this. I don't trust Eloy in the outfield defensively. I think he should just be a pure DH power hitter. That is it. Go out there, smack the ball, or strike out. That's it. That's your job now. Until you learn how to be more responsible out there, this is your job now. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, well,
we want to win, and we cannot afford to let you hurt us.
That's a conversation that him, Rick Hahn, and I'm assuming Tony Bruce is going to be back next year. That's a conversation those 3 need to have. Well, those 4 need to have because that's a huge issue. It's very huge. I mean, your best of ability is your availability. Yep. And if you can't stay healthy because you're doing stupid stuff in the outfield, then you're no good to this team.
Nope.
And like I said, that's a conversation that the organization needs to have with them. And that's a tough one because I'm not going to sit up here and say he does it on purpose. I'm not going to say that.
Of course not.
I think he's a fun-loving player who just does goofy shit and needs to mature.
I could agree. But they're paying him what, $43 million?
A little bit more than that. Yeah. Probably about $50 million.
Before he even got to the ballpark?
Yeah.
$43 million. He needs to start maturing now.
Yeah.
We're ready to win. You and Luis quit fooling around because both of you are going to get hurt. And then the Sox are really effed.
Yeah.
And start maturing so we could win a goddamn World Series.
Yeah. No, they still got enough to win. I just think it's going to be a little bit more difficult within that lineup right now.
Oh, no. Dude, I agree. They still have enough to win. It's just Eloy was a big piece of them winning.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, it would be a lot easier with 74 in the lineup than without. Absolutely.
And now things just got a little easier for Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes to my point. I mean, that lineup has to do more than what they were planning on doing.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at 2 players this year, right now, especially with Eloy being out, that have to rate, that have to have basically career MVP type performances. Moncada and Luis Robert.
Yep.
Those 2 have to perform. If those 2 don't perform, then guess what? Abreu doesn't have protection. And all they're going to do is, pitch around him. And now, now the White Sox may have to go out and get a bat just so they can compete.
Not to get onto the subject of Moncada, but I read on Twitter that he's been a doubles machine.
And that's good.
I will take that all season long instead of him trying to hit dingers every single plate appearance.
If he has a season where he's hitting, because my question is this: I went back and I looked at his stats. Is he more of a 230, 240, 250 hitter, or is he the 315 guy 2 years ago? But he also had, I think, like 35 to 40 doubles. And if Moncada is, that 315 with 45 50 doubles, I'll take that.
Oh,
absolutely, I'll take that. That just means you're getting on base more.
Yep. I'd rather have him hit for average all season than striking out trying to hit home runs all day.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Eloy. His plate appearance, opposing pitchers were in trouble, man.
Yeah.
If you had no intentions of putting anything in the zone with Eloy, you may as well just give the signal of the intentional walk.
Yep.
He may have had the potential to lead the American League in walks this season. He wasn't swinging anything remotely close to the strike zone. And when he did swing, he's raking. The ball's gone, or he's hitting a double or a single or a sacrifice will do anything.
Yeah. I'm just curious of how the lineup's going to shake out now. Because that 3, 4, and 5 was set with Abreu, Moncada, and Eloy. Now that 3, 4, and 5 my guess would be Abreu, Moncada, and maybe Grandal at this point.
I sent you guys a text, I think yesterday or Tuesday, saying that I noticed La Russa has consistently had Moncada in the 4 and Jimenez in the 5 spot, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
That was Moncada batting cleanup. That's dangerous.
Yeah. No, if he takes whatever he's doing right now in the spring into the regular season, that will alleviate some of the issues that they might have with not having Eloy.
Yep.
I mean, they still will miss him, but it won't be as bad.
No. Yeah. Bad day.
Bad day. What? It sucks. It sucks as a fan because we have high expectations of this team, and Eloy was a part of that. But as you and I talked about, they still have more than enough to win, and maybe Eloy gets lucky enough to where it's not a 5 to 6 month injury; he can get back in 3. I doubt it. But you know what's funny though? A buddy of mine tweeted at me earlier today saying, well, if Triple H can come back after being out with a quad injury in 5 months, surely Eloy can come back to the World Series in less time than that. So, it is what it is. The Sox still got some talent.
Yeah.
They just need to have some of those other players step up more than what they were.
Yep. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else unless you do.
No, we're good.
All right, my man. It's been a good video. Good chat with you.
Absolutely.
And until our next video.
Sweet.
All right. Have a good evening, dude.
Yeah, you too, Matt.
All right. Bye.